Kwanzaa, the first fruits. Welcome to our video production of Kwanzaa, the first fruits. Kwanzaa is an African-American holiday which intertwines African traditions with American customs. Kwanzaa, the first fruits. It was first celebrated December 26, 1966, in Los Angeles by Ron Karanga, his family, and his friends. Kwanzaa, the first fruits. Karanga had organized ancient wisdom based on 6 criteria of a people: history, mythology, creativity, social structure, political organization, and most importantly, economics. Kwanzaa, the first fruits. Kwanzaa is celebrated December 26th through January 1st. The core principle of Kwanzaa is the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, which Karanga expressed in Swahili, a language of East Africa. The 7 principles of Kwanzaa are Imoja, unity; Kuja Chagalia, self-determination; Ujima, collective work and responsibility; Ujamaa, cooperative economics; Nia, purpose; Kumba, creativity; and finally, Imani. Imani means faith. These are the principles of Kwanzaa, the first fruit. Join Grassroot News as we celebrate Kwanzaa, the first fruit, with video footage from our library. Join us now for Kwanzaa, the first fruit.
The principles actually imply that I am my brother's keeper, that we as a community are responsible for what happens to one another. We're responsible for seeing that our brothers' needs are met, our brothers and sisters' needs are met. I was using brothers in generic. And that there's a togetherness, a feeling of togetherness, and that we are one of each other. And that's the principle upon which we operate the clinic here as well. But Kwanzaa, the colors, the red for the blood, the green for the land, the black for the people, just the concept of what those colors imply, to me, is beautiful. It's encouraging. It really is, because it means to me that if we, as a community, and I'm using a community in the broadest sense, look at just the principles and the concepts of Kwanzaa and what the colors stand for, we will be united in our efforts rather than I'm doing my own thing and you do yours. And we will actually live the principles upon which Kwanzaa was founded, it's beautiful. We, and I'm saying we as a community, are responsible for our brothers and our sisters' health care. We're responsible for seeing that if they are ailing or if they're in trouble, that we come to their rescue. And that is, when I say community, I mean all people, all ethnicities, backgrounds, racial, socioeconomic, cultural, spiritual, etc. We are our brother's keeper. And why do I keep going? It is the smile of that child that comes in that says, I want to be a Thurgood Marshall. And I put that at the top of the chart, so every time he comes in, I remind him, oh, I want to be a marine biologist. I can't replace Thurgood Marshall, and because, obviously, of the timing, but I'm only 7 years old, but I read 300 books last summer, and I know that I can do it. I want to be an attorney. I want to be a marine biologist, and these children give me so much energy and so much love and so much encouragement. I try to share as a mentor and a role model, and in turn they share, because I will be on their case, excuse me for saying it, like white on rice, if I find out they're making C's and D's and F's, and that they come here and say, I just want to work. No. You've got to have a goal, and you've got to have a vision.
I think the Nguza Saba was extremely valuable in the way Karenga developed it. I think he found 7 concepts which probably would serve any community well, but were of particular value to African Americans. I think he studied African history and African culture and the African diaspora, Africans all over the planet, and found elements that were common to most, if not all, of those cultures and brought them together to give African Americans a tradition like the traditions which were lost or stolen from us during our Holocaust, during slavery. And I think he was remarkably successful, or maybe from some people's perspective, destined to be successful by returning those principles to our community, because Kwanzaa and the Nguza Saba has grown steadily, and each year more and more of the community embraces the concept of Kwanzaa and the 7 principles. I think things like collective work and responsibility, self-determination, having a sense of faith, the concept of creativity, and the other principles are great guiding lights, that if a community organized itself around those principles, it would succeed. I think it's extremely valuable to individuals, because I think those 7 principles provide individual guidance, and they are particularly important to me because in my family, my wife and I used the Nguza Saba as part of our wedding ceremony, because we looked at those 7 principles and we felt like those are good to build a marriage around.
I'd like to welcome you to the 3rd night of, what is this night? Kwanzaa. Say it like you know it. Kwanzaa. What does Kwanzaa mean? She's here. It could mean she's here. We're glad everybody's here, but that's not. I'm going to ask Brother Art Alexander to help me with the Kwanzaa presentation. This is totally spontaneous. And I didn't see him with his drums, so I'll forgive him for that. He didn't think he'd be on tonight.
No, I didn't.
So would you help me with Kwanzaa?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
What would you like me to do?
What is Kwanzaa? Anyone want to help us with Kwanzaa? Brother Art.
The 7 fruits.
There are 7 fruits, you're right.
Well, close. The 7 principles, that's the Nguza Saba. Kwanzaa is a celebration of first fruit. It's kind of a harvest celebration or related to harvest, but it was originated here in the United States back in the late 60s by Milano Ron Karenga of the United Students Organization, US organization in California. It went from being originated by him in California to being celebrated by millions of people of African descent all around the planet. I mean, think about it. Now, this is a holiday that was created by an African-American scholar and revolutionary thinker back in the late 60s. And at the time, there were probably people who sort of played it down. Now you can go out and buy Hallmark Kwanzaa cards.
And I got a few here to prove it.
Okay.
You've come a long way.
And the holiday is built around 7 principles around which we should build our individual lives, our family lives, our community lives, and our lives as a people spread all over this planet. That's the basic description of Kwanzaa.
Thank you.
And
don't go away.
Okay.
And for you that are beginners with Kwanzaa, it's not to replace Christmas. You can have Christmas. I still have my tree. It's getting a little dry. But it is an extension of. And if you're a European and you get a Kwanzaa card, it's not exclusive. It's inclusive. It's something that we're very proud of that we can share. It's something that we have developed because it's an African American. So we take the best of our traditions from the past, from the motherland to now. And I'm going to move over, and I'm going to ask Brother Art to move with me over to the Kwanzaa table, because I try to be true to it. These are things from my home, and each night there are 7 candles, as he said, for the 7 principles, and it's based upon our foundation.
Yeah, that's the mat. There's elements that go along with the Kwanzaa display in the family. I also want to add that Kwanzaa is a cultural celebration, not a religious celebration. So, you know, if anybody asks you about what religion is tied to, it's not. It's a cultural celebration for people of African descent wherever we are on the planet. The foundation is the mkeke, which is the mat. So if you have what this is called a kinara, a candle holder, it doesn't have to be a fancy candle holder. You can have, I know a sister that had 7 bottles that she used to put a candle in each bottle to represent the 7 principles. And each night of Kwanzaa, you light one of the candles. You start with the black candle, then red, then green. You alternate out. And each night you celebrate the principle for that day or for that evening of Kwanzaa. Among the other things that you might have on the Kwanzaa display, there might be some fruit or some ears of corn. Ears of corn would be the muhindi, which represent the children in the family. And even if you don't have children in your family, if we are all parents to all of our children, you should have an ear of corn on your Kwanzaa display to remember the fact that you are a parent to all of the children, whether you have biological children or not.
Okay. And to help us, this is a very simple story. I'm going to read just a bit to you, and I'm going to ask you to follow along. Part of it is to keep you from going to sleep and to keep me on my toes. Let's be real quick. Our Kwanzaa celebration, it's a pop-up book. This is to help me celebrate the child in me, so. Kwanzaa celebration. Kwanzaa means first fruit to the harvest. On the first day, we celebrate umoja. Can you say that with me?
Umoja.
And it means unity. What does it mean? Unity. And it's unity of our family, our friends, our neighbors, and we gather together to celebrate Kwanzaa. It joins us together to make us strong. We each sip from the unity cup, and it's called the
Kikombe.
See, I can't say all those words. I'm working on it. We do this to honor our ancestors. The second day of Kwanzaa, we celebrate, I love this one, Kujichagulia. What is that?
Wait, a little louder, please.
Like you really need to know what it is.
Kujichagulia.
Which means self-determination. What does it mean? Self-determination. It's our special history that gives us confidence to help us to know who we are and to know what's important to us. We decide who we are and who we will be, and it's Kujichagulia.
And I would add to that we name ourselves, we identify ourselves, and we will not be named or identified, and our history will not be written by others but by us.
Okay? And then we go to, and this is a special night because this is why we're all here. The third day of Kwanzaa, we celebrate Ujima.
Ujima.
And now some folks say Ujima. How do you say it, Brother Art?
I say Ujima.
Okay.
But, and these words are Kiswahili.
Yeah, that's the language.
Which is one of the languages on the continent. There are many languages on the African continent. Kiswahili is spoken by a lot of people, but it's not the only language. So
it's keeping the best of that and joining with America, African Americans. But the third day of Kwanzaa, we celebrate Ujima, and it means collective work and responsibility. What day is this?
Ujima.
And what does it mean?
Collective work and responsibility.
Now, girlfriend, you sitting there like, come on with the film. I want to hear everybody say it so I can move to the fourth night. What night is this? Ujima. And what does it mean? Collective work and responsibility. How can we be collective if we don't see it as a collective? Okay, so what night is this? Ujima. Tonight is Ujima, and what does it mean? Collective work and responsibility. Very good. Bob, that's when everybody works on their contracts, and it's a collective, right? Just checking. Okay. The fourth day of Kwanzaa, we celebrate Ujama.
Ujama.
Ujama. Thank you. Okay, just checking. Ujama. And it means cooperative economics. What is it? What night is the fourth night?
Ujama.
Ujama. Say it again. Ujama. Ujama. Say it again. Ujama. And what does it mean? Well, it's collective, but cooperative economics. And that means on January 6th, you don't have to wait to go out to E&M Market because that brother's struggling and he needs for us to buy from him. And I've heard folks say, well, the people don't always smile, but folks don't always smile when you go to McDonald's or Safeway either. So give him a chance. It's buying from your own, buying from the community, working together to support each other. And all year long, we should buy our food right in our own neighborhood. Okay, so visit MLK Boulevard. The fifth day of Kwanzaa, we celebrate, and I'm going to ask you, what fifth day do we celebrate, sister, sitting here? Because it bears your name. Nia. And it means what? Purpose. So the fifth day we celebrate what? And what does it mean? It stands for our hopes and our dreams for our future. And the corn is called Muhinde. It's placed on the Kwanzaa table, and there's one ear for each child. I have so many children and grandchildren, I just brought a bowl of fruit. And I collect all the children and work with them. And the corn, as Brother Art says, symbolizes our parents' wish for us to grow up strong and happy. The 6th day of Kwanzaa we celebrate, and I like this. That's why I wish we had the drums. Kuumba. Can you say that?
Kuumba.
Say it again.
Kuumba.
And it means our creativity. What does it mean? Creativity. So we can take a little bit of something, make it something, something. Take nothing and make it something. You know, when you want to wear a scarf, it could be the sheet off the bed, it could be the anything, the curtains. You know, back in the day, when what they threw away, we made a meal out of, if that wasn't being creative, I don't know what that was. So what night is that? Kuumba. And it means what? Creativity. We find ways to make our homes and our world more beautiful. We create the handmade. We could do that by making a mat, because Kwanzaa is not about thank you, Brother Lance. It's not about costing anything. It's about creating and using, the family. Thank you so much for coming. Kuumba. Then we move to the 6th day, the 7th day of Kwanzaa, and we celebrate. Does anybody know that? Imani. All right. Who said that? All right, Imani. And that means our faith. Can you say what night is that? Imani. And what does it mean? Our faith. Jew, Gentile, Hindu, Muslim. It's about celebrating your spirituality, because we all know that we're not here alone. And we believe many good things await us in the future, and we can give thanks for all that we have and all that we know. And each child receives zawadi, and that's a gift. And that's what this represents. As my children are old and I have grandchildren, they said, Mom, what's in there? I said, it symbolizes what you would have gotten when you were young. But this is for the grandbabies now. So this is a mud cloth representing gifts. Welcome.
And I would add that the idea behind Kwanzaa is not to purchase toys,
no,
but to present gifts that represent development of each child. And that's why books are particularly appropriate.
Right, that's why we have them here.
Maybe a CD-ROM, but things that help develop the mind of the child are the appropriate gifts for Kwanzaa.
Umoja, which means unity, is the first principle of Kwanzaa, the first fruits. In Portland, Oregon, we came together to celebrate the Million Man March, and this is a wonderful example of Umoja. Hi, my name's Lanita Duke, and welcome to a special edition of the Duke Report. We're celebrating Kwanzaa, and for our gift to the community, we're doing a video on the Coalition of Black Men. This morning, we're at a forum that the Coalition is sponsoring, where they're debriefing the community on the Million Man March.
We must do two things, I believe, in atonement. We must atone to our God, by whatever name you choose to call him or her. Secondly, we must atone to each other, because we can never take our rightful place of respect and leadership with our family and our community until we're able to demonstrate that love and commitment to each other. How are our children and our families going to look at us? And we stand out there talking about straightening up when they watch all the things we do. So we, brothers, in atonement, have to get busy about making amends to each other and demonstrating that love for each other. Because if we don't, no one in their right mind will look to us for leadership and give us respect.
And as an African-American woman, what did the Million Man March mean to you?
It meant an opportunity for Black men to get together. What I know about organizing is that that's what you start. You start with like kind. Because we've been so divided, I was reading today William Lynch's address to plantation owners, and I saw again the opportunities that was taken to divide us, and one of the things was to divide men from women. And what I know about organizing is that like kind must get together, especially when they've been so fiercely divided, get together, do their atonement with each other. at the same time that they're atoning with each other, part of the responsibility was to atone with black women. So I am glad that it happened. I didn't necessarily feel isolated because I know that black women are central and essential to any growth for any people, period.
Oh, I love the march. I supported it from day one. As soon as I heard about it, I moved and I started working with the brothers here, specifically with the Nation of Islam, because that's all I knew that was doing anything here in Portland. So as soon as I found out through Brother Gary X's televised shows of Minister Farrakhan, I started assisting him and helping brothers get on the plane, reserving plane tickets, and getting them together to meet and gathering so they'll have contacts in D.C. And as for that, I started putting out flyers so we can have little rallies here in Oregon, just to bring up the momentum here. And so I'm just in love with it from the beginning. I'm still in love with it now.
My name is Khalil Edwards, and I'm 16, and I go to Lincoln High School.
Tell me, what do you think about the Million Man March?
I think it's real positive, and that it was in good timing that something like this need to happen.
How do you feel about the Million Man March?
I think it's positive.
Why?
Because black people are coming together.
And why is that positive?
Because we need to come together.
Why do we need to come together?
So we could be stronger.
The point is, Lanita, in labor-intensive sort of careers, we've always had some sense of participation, but as we see that competition in the new century is becoming more and more abundant, then black people are being squeezed out. They've been eliminated from traditional ways of making a living. And contracting is one of the areas where we are letting our guard down. Let me just say, Lanita, we put all our efforts in people like Ron Wyden and put our eggs in the basket of some of these politicians who traditionally call themselves liberal, but those people really haven't come through for us. We should stop playing that game, letting them misuse us and abuse us and throwing us a bone, and we should look at who is really going to do something for us. People would chop my neck off if they thought I was talking down to Ron Wyden, but we got to stop making those decisions based upon historically what people were doing and really make some decisions about physically, are we better off today? A question to ask you, are we better off today by supporting Ron Wyden and some of the traditional politicians? Are we better off today than we were when they were elected? I don't think so.
What I have said to people who've gone to the Million Men, witnessed the Million Men March, and particularly talked about it, because of the march, you have a new energy, a new commitment to do something. It won't be done overnight. The children who are exhibiting, I call this negative, short-sighted behavior, didn't happen in one day. It's through the social policies, the degeneration of the family, to a poor educational system. All those things we must confront in order to change. We won't change this community as a result of one march. We will change this community as a result of one march. Follow means like the one we're having today, and the efforts of so many others. But it's going to take time. It's going to take us to get re-energized and understand one thing, that the answer to our problems doesn't rest with government. It doesn't rest with anyone but us. If we don't take it upon ourselves to deal with it, it won't get done.
The second day of Kwanzaa is Kuja Chagalia. That means self-determination. The video production, Girls in the Hood, is a wonderful example of self-determination, Kuja Chagalia.
What did you think of the video?
I thought it depicted real life from people who have to live within the environment, deal with the violence, and survive in spite of, sometimes in spite of the support system that's supposed to exist to help folks.
And what was your favorite skit?
Favorite in the most painful way was someone getting shot. Because if you look, probably in this room or within our families, we all know someone, probably 5 or 6 people who've either been killed or wounded within our families or our neighborhood. And that 10 years ago didn't exist. The level of violence that impacts us as a family and as a community. That was the best and the worst.
As a young woman, a young teenager growing up in high school, on your way to college, how did you feel about the video?
I thought it was very real. It made a lot of sense. I don't know, it was good.
And what was your favorite skit?
I like somebody got shot.
And why did you like that skit?
I don't know, it just seemed realistic.
Do you know anybody from your school or anybody you know that's been shot?
No.
That's good.
I thought Girls in the Hood was very powerful and honest. I liked it. We're very fortunate to have someone like Lanita Duke to work in a medium such as communications. Could be a useful tool for me in my counseling at Albina Youth Opportunity School. I want to see more unity among young women and women in general. We all need to pull together because we're the key to the family.
And what was your favorite skit and why?
I thought that the death of social service, the bell is tolling, and we need to pay attention to that. But I really liked the pieces where the young women spoke for themselves.
Gimme is gone. I am the ghost of social service future. And this is the end of social service as we know it. In the future, what's left of social service funding will be given out to programs who have the best public relations. In the future, social service money will be allocated on who you know and not the quality of your services. In the future, there will be no safety net, and the programs that are left will be required to serve the most people with the least amount of money. In the future, social service will be dead.
It's like black brothers killing black brothers over something stupid, over colors that have been here before their times.
How does that affect you as a young lady, though?
It ain't leaving me with no man.
And how did you like the video?
I thought it was excellent and probably long overdue. I think sometimes we focus in on a lot of the problems associated with males and gangs that we tend to overlook, that we got a lot more females involved with gang activity, the escalation of that gang activity, and also with teen pregnancy, how it becomes such a vicious cycle that a lot of young ladies can never get out of it. And I'd like to add one other point, that the Citizen Project, which kind of oversees criminal justice nationally, recently reported that African American women, their involvement in the criminal justice system is escalating. In fact, between 1989 and 1994, their involvement in the criminal justice system in terms of supervision has risen to 78% during that time. So we have a serious problem, and I think this show really kind of supports the problems we have with girls and gangs, teen pregnancy, and also a lack of resources and support for these young women. So I thought it was excellent.
Okay, thank you. Ashley, as a young woman, teenager growing up today, how did you like the video?
I liked it. It was fun.
It was fun? And what was your favorite skit?
The part where she got evicted.
Why'd you like that part?
Because it was funny.
It was funny? Was it real?
Yeah, I think so.
And how did you like the video?
I liked it a lot too. I thought all the skits were very real, very down to earth.
And how do you think this would affect young girls like Ashley's age to see this before they become young moms?
Well, there was that one girl who talked about, two girls talked about changing their lives, and one of them talked about the peer pressure she experienced after she changed her life and cleaned up her English and stuff like that. I think that was a very positive example for Ashley. Just to not even go to the point where she has to turn around and change her life, but just to stay on the right track. That's what that girl ended up saying to do.
And how did you like the video?
I thought it was wonderful. I don't know much about the gangs and all, but I do know about social services, and it's truly going downhill. It's going to be a shame when it happens.
And what was your favorite skit and why?
My favorite skit was The Ghost, because it was so true.
I would say the whole program was pretty good. I'm sorry that they are thinking about not funding the program, but they should continue to do this. And maybe the community can help keep the program running. Hopefully.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ujima, collective work and responsibility. The Black Educational Center in Portland, Oregon is a wonderful example of Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Ujamaa, cooperative economics. Black businesses trying hard to survive in this capitalistic economy. You're listening to From the Grassroots, where we agitate for social change with music and commentary. From the Grassroots, reporting from the front line in America's race war. Well, all our guests are here. I'm so excited. Our topic, Black businesses in Portland. Can they survive to the year 2000 and beyond? Okay, so we have a nice variety, nice diversity in businesses. We have a realtor, and I really want to get into gentrifying, the gentrification of North and Northeast Portland, or you knew I was going to get you. We have O.B. Hill and Gloria McMurtry talking about, they have a coffee store, a bookstore, and a community forums place where people meet. And we have Chris Gwynn from N2U. Give us a call at 231-8187 or 231-8032 and ask them a question. Let me start in. But why is it that when Mid-K, Korean beauty and barber supply store came around, black folks, you know, couldn't wait to put Jabel's Beauty and Barber Supply out of business to give their money to Koreans who don't have hair like ours, who don't look like us, and treat you like a dog when you do business with them?
That's an interesting question, and I ponder that myself from time to time. I think it's just like an epidemic amongst our race sometimes that we just don't want to support each other. And I don't know exactly the answer to that question, but I try to have my clients, I try to provide all the hair services and the things they need in my salon so that they don't have to go about and support a person that doesn't really know about their hair or may not necessarily care about their hair. But to answer that question, I really don't know the answer, but I don't know how to answer that.
Well, I'm glad that you were at least talking about it. I know Grassroot News, we've talked about it from Jump Street, or you hit me to that issue, as well as one of the few African Americans that I can say does not support Mid-K. They probably don't know what your dollar look like, do they? Or that's right. Tell us, why do you think that is? Why is it that black folks ran to support Mid-K Beauty Supply at the expense of a 10-year-old black business?
Lanita, I think that one thing that we have to look at within our community is a kind of pervasive ignorance about what it means to be in business. The fact that we worry about dollars, so we say, but we are the people who spend more on non-needy items than anybody else. But when it comes to continuing to support a business like Jabel's or Mrs. C's, we say, well, their prices were too high, okay? But it's not because we're saving those dollars to put them into some other kind of business or do something else. So somehow we tend to, because we don't understand that it's more costly for a small business because of the way they have to buy their products and these kinds of things, then what we do is we kind of say we price hunt, okay? So we say we went to Mid-K because it was cheaper. Well, somewhere we have to realize what it means to turn our dollars over in our communities, because Jabel's at least was hiring some of us. And if Mid-K is hiring some of us, it's because they feel that they need one or two of us in there to kind of lure the others in. So it's not so much that I begrudge Koreans being able to do business and be in business. My problem is that I don't want to take my dollars, because I am a small black business, and I believe that it's necessary for me to do business with other African Americans if we're going to survive. And I think that this is something that needs to be on the table. We need to have a business forum where we can actually talk about what it takes, what it costs. I mean, we're not out here doing this because it's easy or because it's fun. We're doing it because we believe it is our survival as a race of people. When we start to look at ourselves as a nation of people within this nation, then we'll start to realize that whatever we're going to accomplish is on our own backs, not on the government, not on other people, but it's on our own back.
My favorite is Nia. Nia means purpose. When the Black United Front put up billboards and posters to deal head-on with the issue of gun violence in our community. This is a wonderful example of Nia. Kumbah, creativity. When a family comes together to celebrate the birthday of a family member. In this clip, it's Claire May Peoples.
C is for community care. L is for leadership. A is for accomplishment. R is for radiant. A is for assistance. M is for magnificent. A is for amusing. E is for empathy. And that spells Clara May. Okay, wait, no, wait, I got this for you. Hold it.
I'm just here to say happy birthday to Clara May. I consider her as being my other mother.
Right on.
I love her so dearly. She has been more than a mother and a friend, and certainly one of our family members.
Yes.
There's nothing that she can be involved in that we're not willing to support.
Amen.
And Clara, you know Netta loves you. And you know I'll be seeing you at 8 o'clock, if not 8:30. And Edna's not out here, but I'm sure she's going to come out here and tell you how much she loves her also.
Yeah.
And she's looking so lovely tonight. It just couldn't be a nicer affair. And this will be something that she'll be able to remember for many years. And her family is just wonderful. And I just love her. Let my youngest sister say something, Clara.
We love you, we love you, we love you. I mean, just eternity, just love, love, love. You say, Clara, you know love, you see love, it's just love, 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 love. Terry,
I love you. I'm the quiet one. Love you.
Hi, Mom. I'm Haley Jr. You had me. My favorite Clara May story was probably, just off the top of my head, there's probably too many to remember, so I would have to say it's probably the 9 closest months that we spent together. And it was probably that first day, April 9th, when I met you. I didn't know who you were, but you knew who I was, and you loved me, and here I am today just to show that, and I'm just showing a little love back to you. I love you. I'm looking forward to your next 70 years, and happy birthday.
The last principle of Kwanzaa is Imani, faith. Like the faith of an activist who never tires, Mrs. Bobby Gary. These are the principles of Kwanzaa, the first fruit. Kwanzaa, the first fruits, are based upon a value system. There are 7 principles of the Nguzo Saba, the value systems, in Kwanzaa. The first one is Umoja. That means unity. Umoja is the importance of striving for and maintaining unity in the family, community, nation, and race. Kujachagalia, self-determination. Kujachagalia means knowing who we are and our role in our community as we journey through life. To define our interests, name ourselves, create for ourselves, speak for ourselves, making decisions that benefit the family and our community. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Ujima means that through unity, we must build and maintain our community to solve problems together, the way we bonded to solve problems in our past. Ujima, cooperative economics. Ujima means to build and maintain businesses using our collective economic strengths to fill mutually the needs of our community. Nia, that means purpose. Nia means that we must have pride in ourselves and in our ancestry so we can look within ourselves to build and plan for the total community. Kumba, creativity. Kumba is using our individual talents. We must keep our home and our community clean and beautiful by using our creativity to build and maintain our community. Imani, faith. Imani is believing in our people, our parents, our teachers, and our leaders by honoring and remembering the best of our history, the best of ourselves, and the best of our dreams and aspirations for the future. We live by faith in others, but most of all, we live by faith in ourselves. These are the principles of Kwanzaa, the Nguzo Saba, a value system. Kwanzaa, the first fruits. May we all strive to live by the principles of Kwanzaa, the first fruit. And as we approach the year 2000, may we learn that the value system in Kwanzaa can give us the strength, the power, and the compassion for the year 2000 and beyond. From Grassroot News, this has been Lanita Duke. Thank you for watching Kwanzaa, the first fruit.